very, very interestingly, and I knew this, but, well, I didn't totally know this. I was actually kind of worried about this like splintering in the MAGA base. So I'm really actually happy to see this. It was my instinct to think that everybody's going to stick by him, but this is the proof. Okay, guys, this tells you what you need to know. America is on his team, period. Full stop. Here is the latest poll number. I want you to see the reaction of the CNN reporter who's like, wow, you know what? He really is. Teflon. Take a peek.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approval of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex, or close there too, in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real in real life.
Who knew?
Amazing.
Twitter and X are not reality.
Is there any reason that you can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him?
Yeah. I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One respondent. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority list.
No, it's not. Okay, so this is the deal. The base loves him. The base isn't going anywhere. It doesn't matter what Tom, Dick, and Harry say. It does not matter because you know what? They elected him not to, I mean, look, I'm not saying that, you know, it wouldn't be great to figure out exactly what went down on that. I don't know if we ever will because I think there's a good chance that there were some intelligence ops involved. I don't know. I don't know the story. But you know what? The point is the economy's doing well. Inflation's coming down. We're getting safer. Because they're cleaning up the streets. And this is what's killing the Democrats right now. Absolutely killing them. As Donald Trump climbs yet again in the polls. There's a Democrat that appears on CNN from time to time. She used to be on Fox, and she's not the brightest, okay? Like, you know, I mean, there are Democrats that are smart, and there are those that aren't. And yet, not only is she not so smart, she's actually also highly irresponsible. So I want to show you this exchange. They get nothing, right? So there was a CPI report that came out the other day, an inflation report, and it was actually pretty benign. Like inflation is like up 0.3%. It's like nothing. And core CPI is actually down. So like it's or down from what was expected. It is a very, very decent and good read, but you wouldn't know it if you listen to some of these Dems or this lady who's kind of an idiot trying to make a comparison on egg prices, suggesting that we need to look at it year over year. Egg prices year over year. Hey, how about we look at egg prices since Donald Trump came to office? Because those are two different scenarios. Watch.
I do think the panic over this report today is unwarranted, but I do think data is worth watching every month.
But it's not.
But it seems like a lot of panic for no reason. You're getting matched reports every month.
It's not panic when we were promised on August 15th of last year that the price of eggs, that the price of bacon, and the price of apples. Actually, eggs year over year are up by 20. Are up 27%.
They're down.
I'm sorry.
Since he took office, they're down.
But if year over year.
He promised when he took office they would go down.
Hold on. Let's not fight about statistics here. She's right. Year over year, they are up significantly. Month over month, they've gone down, but that's from their high, which occurred partly due to bird flu and other things.
Right. So let's be very clear. He promised three things: the price of eggs, the price of bacon, and the price of apples were going to go down. I can quote him. It was on August 15th of last year. He said they're going to go down almost immediately when I become president. All of them are up. They're up year over year, and that's a fact. And these, you think it's hysteria or whatever you called it. People are suffering. You know how I know this? Because I heard all about that from you last year when I would debate you, and you kept talking about how the price of eggs is really high. Well, guess what? It's much higher now than it was when you and I were debating.
We're literally lying about the eggs.
Wait, excuse me.
Eggs are down.
No, whoa.
The eggs are down.
Guys, stop. Okay, Scott, before you accuse her of lying, I literally just went over this. She is correct that year over year, the price...
Since Donald Trump took office, what happened
Scott,
to the eggs?
Oh, my God. Do you not understand that the difference between...
Who was the president last year at this time?
Scott, do you understand?
And then when did they spike?
Julie, let me just resolve this so we can move on, because this is a silly conversation.
You totally derailed this conversation. She's trying to have a serious panel, and you're out here arguing
are derailing the
about
conversation.
No, I'm not.
Pardon me.
She's not telling the truth about the eggs.
But you're derailing the conversation, okay? I think people have the ability to understand the difference between the price of eggs today and the price of eggs a year ago today versus what you would prefer to talk about, which is the price of eggs when Donald Trump was inaugurated. You're just talking about
his policies?
You're talking about two different time horizons. Okay, let's just leave it at that and move on. Please, continue.
They made it higher than what was
Continue, Chair Michael.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, are we living in cuckoo land? By the way, Leslie, thank you for your generosity. Leslie pointing out she's not going to be here tomorrow. And we might be at 9,000 tomorrow. We just need 2,000 more subs. So tell your friends, make sure you pass the word along. We're here live every day. 2,000 more subs to get to 900,000. It's crazy, right? Anyway, I'm like watching this clip and I'm like, these people are unbelievable. So I want to show you. Here's Trading Economics, egg prices. Do you see that plummet? So they were going up during Joe Biden. And then guess what? In the last 6 months, this is egg prices in the last 6 months, they have plunged. Okay, so since Donald Trump has come to office, inflation has gone down. Egg prices have plunged. You may talk about them being up 27%, you moronic CNN people that don't understand math or anything for that matter. And they're trying to use year over year numbers. They're trying to bake in all of Joe Biden's price increase in eggs, and they're not looking at how they've come down. So that's setting the record straight with those people, these moronic people. 2,000 more subs till we get to 900,000. So do Leslie a favor. She just chipped in a big amount of money to try and goose you all. Make sure you tell all your friends. Anyway, Ken Langone, he's the founder of Home Depot, and he's a great guy. I've known him many, many years, and I love Ken. He went on to CNBC, and he's like, you know what? This president is going down in history as one of the best ever. Think about that. Gosh, the Democrats hate it, do they not? Watch.
Look, let me tell you right now, I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce in there. It's all around.
I gave you quite a bit of grief.
Huh?
I gave you grief.
You give me grief?
I gave you grief when it was a binary choice. You're still complaining about Trump and it was a binary choice. It's like, are you kidding me?
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out.
Right.
He said, you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did. One of the pilots said that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's probably right.
Wow, right? So Ken is totally sold on Trump. And I think I go back to, the base not caring about some of the distractions out there, because I think the reality is they like what he's doing. And part of what he's doing is creating an environment that is better for everyone, right? We've got massive growth in the markets. We've got an economy that's growing. We've got inflation that's coming down. It's driving the Democrats nuts. So they're off to this, that, and the other, and they're going to create all kinds of distractions. But here's the reality. Things are good. Isn't that nice? Things are good. I mean, maybe interest rates could be lower. This is Donald Trump. He's been flirting with the whole idea of getting rid of Powell because Powell has left interest rates a little too high in his perspective, which has penalized everyday working Americans because, it means higher car loans, it means higher prices for real estate. And Donald Trump wants lower rates. He's always wanted lower rates. And there's some interesting data. Actually, we looked at this at 76 Research that shows you that QE has a bigger influence on inflation than actual rates do. So one could make the argument that bringing down rates would help the middle class right now. And Jerome, for whatever reason, isn't even willing to entertain that idea. Here's Donald Trump speaking on the issue of whether or not we're going to have a Fed chief change in the future. Watch.
Months or so, and we'll pick somebody that's good, and we'll pick somebody. I just want a fair job. We want to see lower interest rates. Our country deserves it. We're making a lot of money. We're doing great as a country. We have no inflation, record stock market, record business, record everything. Everything's a record now. We had the worst inflation in history under Biden, and now we have almost no inflation. We've done a great job, and we should have the interest rates cut.
So you're saying the other day that Scott Bessent, you're so happy with him at Treasury that he's not your top option to replace Jerome Powell whenever that may be, whenever you decide what you want to do with him.
Scott's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with Scott.
Is Kevin Hassett on the top of your list?
Kevin's somebody we'd consider. Kevin is fantastic, too. We have a lot of good people for that job. It's not a tough job, to be honest. Assuming you're smart, it's not a tough job. If you're a dummy, then I guess it's a tough job. But it might be one of the easiest jobs I've ever seen. And now on top of it, he's building a close to $3 billion little nest egg for himself. He's not doing the right job. We should be saving $1 trillion a year in interest. When he talks about cost, we should be saving. Think of it, $1 trillion a year. Add that with the tariffs and everything else. But he just doesn't want. He's a knucklehead. But we'll see how that. We'll see how he's listening to this. That's a strange conversation. But we like to say it like it is. But we have a lot of.
He is a knucklehead. You heard him, a total knucklehead. So he's not very high on Powell. I'm not so high on Powell either. As you know, I was really frustrated to see him printing so much money in 2020 when Biden came into office. Simultaneously, you had Chuck and Nancy doing all they could, and on top of it, you had Biden signing the third stimulus check. I mean, it was a recipe for total inflation, and we've been feeling the pain ever since until, what do you know, Donald Trump came into office. So that's the good news.